I came to believe that I was powerful and that I could change the world. At a young age, I started to have past life memories flooding in. If we live other lives and there's more to us than what we think, then it gets really exciting. It freed my life. I began my path, and I was so excited about how much it changed me that I wanted to share it with everybody. I had a connection to the sacred feminine that wasn't in any church that I knew about. I've been called to gather the women since I was a girl. Women are so powerful and amazing and caring. And when there's a safe place for women to open up to the care and the love and the nurturance, we can hold each other through profound life transitions. I just saw women really change and transform.
Hello and welcome to Soul Unique. I'm Anu Peter Brandt. My goal with Soul Unique is to assist you in uncovering, forging, and navigating your own personal spiritual path by sharing the very personal stories of inspiring individuals from all walks of life who are on their own unique spiritual journeys and doing important work in the world within the larger arena of spirituality and personal transformation. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Soul Unique. My guest today is my friend Ashanna Solaris. Ashanna is a very skilled and experienced practitioner of the healing arts. She has led hundreds of trainings, workshops, and retreats around the world with the intent of assisting participants to reach their highest potential and to remember who they truly are. Ashanna is also the co-founder of the beautiful practice of Clarity Breathwork, and her counterpart with Clarity Breathwork is the wonderful Dana Dharma Devi, who was a guest here on Soul Unique a couple months ago. Ashanna is also a teacher of the practice of awakening your light body. She also facilitates special women's gatherings and retreats, such as a rite of passage mentorship program designed to foster women in becoming their truest expression of feminine radiance and power. I really appreciate Ashanna's work so much, and I'm particularly happy to help promote her work with women, as I am certainly in agreement with the Dalai Lama when he said, "The Western woman will save the world." And I invite you to join us for this whole episode as Ashanna is going to guide us through a light body activation meditation, which, having experienced her guided meditations myself, I have no doubt will be powerful and transformational for you. And Ashanna is going to share with us a link where you can go to get a free gift of guided meditations from her and Dana Dharma Devi. Ashanna is truly an embodiment of the radiant essence of the divine feminine, and I'm thrilled that she has agreed to speak with me today. So with that, I want to say welcome, Ashanna.
Oh, thank you, Anu. Thank you so much for having me and for that quote from the Dalai Lama that almost had tears, just feeling the enormity of that statement.
Yes, that has really resonated with me for a number of years since I first heard that. Maybe, I don't know, it's got to be 10 years ago now. And it's always come through in my own work to just support the empowerment of women and their work in the world. And that is very important to me. So that's
Thank
one
you
of the
for
reasons.
being a support for that.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, we can't do it without the men also. By the way, we really do need all of us.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Working in tandem.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, thank you for being here. And I'd just like to start out touching into your childhood or your early years. Were you brought up in a religious household? Was there any spirituality in your life when you were growing up? What was that part of your life like for you?
Well, I think that's why that quote touches me so much, is because I always knew, being raised by feminist parents, academics, they both taught women's studies. And my mom had a feminist poetry magazine for, over 20 years. So I got to be surrounded by famous feminist poets like Margaret Atwood was a friend of my mom's, and Marge Piercy. And so I was really around that kind of thinking that, in that day it was the Equal Rights Amendment, and it was women stepping into as great a role of leadership as men. And so I was always steeped in that. And I was not steeped in any religion. Even though my father comes from the Jewish tradition, he had kind of left that and was more of an atheist. I do remember my mom playing with tarot cards when I was a kid. I think she was writing a paper on them. And for
Oh,
me, it
wow.
was always Mother Nature. I always knew. I mean, we did have that commercial back in the 70s, beware of Mother Nature with the
Yes.
lightning and the thunder. And I always
Yeah.
I knew then. I didn't think she was a punishing mother. I just knew that she was my mother, Mother Nature, and
Mm.
that I had a connection to the sacred feminine that wasn't in any church that I knew about.
Oh, that's beautiful. So what was the impact of having both of your parents being in women's studies? That must have been really powerful for you.
But everything has shadow and light, and really our path is to awaken and hold both. So there was a lot of the light of progressive thinking and acceptance and diversity, and a liberal-minded family, which was unusual in Columbia, Missouri. It was very different than my other friends. So I came to believe that I was powerful and that I could change the world at a young age. At the same time, the shadow side was an incredible power struggle between my parents and incredible competition and fighting and drama. And
Oh.
that when I was a little girl, I watched them fighting and throw things at each other and alcoholism. So as much light as there was, I would say that there was an equal amount of shadow and pain. And I think if most of us
Mm.
look at our lives, we're going to see shadow and light. I think I was fortunate to have all the blessings that I had, but I had equal trauma to those blessings.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And so how did that help shape your path as you moved forward in school and in your work that ultimately you're doing today?
I think I mean, I wanted to be an actress more than anything. That was my thing. So I was on the stage at a young age, moving audiences and realizing, wow, I have something here. I can move a whole audience. My mom said in the fourth grade when I took the stage, she knew that I was meant for the stage. And so I was headed to New York City to become a Broadway actress when I was sexually assaulted my senior year in high school.
Oh,
And that
wow.
was a devastating experience that completely changed the trajectory of my life.
Mm.
And, of course, now I can look back and see that it changed my destiny. Perhaps it was already my destiny path, but it changed me to have a need to focus on healing and trauma and understand why that happened to me and why it happens to so many of us and what to do with it. So even though I went off to theater school, I had far too much trauma in my system that only got brought up with acting and theater because that's its own mystery school.
Yeah.
And so I came back home and I started on the path of healing.
Wow, that's amazing. I've never heard that,
Mhm.
Ashanna. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that. That's
Mhm.
powerful.
Mhm.
And it is amazing how these kinds of experiences, whether they be dark or light, or even in this case, the darker ones, can help shape our
Mhm.
paths. And that maybe
Right.
there is some greater plan taking place. So
Through
you
those
went.
things. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I remember that you went to NYU and you had
Mhm.
somewhat of a similar path in the theater world as I did.
Yes.
Um, and I guess then in your own work to find your own path in your own personal healing, that
Mhm.
directed you more towards the healing arts. How,
Well, even at NYU, I was writing this play called Rite of Passage. So it's interesting that now I lead Rite of Passages because I had met a Cherokee student at the school who changed my life and told me about his rite of passage into manhood and all that he experienced. And um, so I started studying everything I could about Native American rites of passage, and reality started changing rapidly around me. So much so that it was very hard to be a 18-year-old kid in New York City when the shelves in the library were breathing and the floors were moving, and I early on actually I started to have past life memories flooding in to me, And
Wow.
I didn't understand them. And it was a past life in Nazi Germany where I died. And so it was just like overwhelming to be cracked open in New York City. So I decided to go home to Columbia, Missouri and find a teacher. And the first thing I did was study hypnotherapy and try to understand these past lives that were coming up for me. And then people got so interested, I started taking them into their past lives. So that was really my first healing modality was past life regression.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Would you be open to talking a little bit more about that? Actually, with my previous guest, we really dove into
Yeah.
the concept of are they past lives or are they
Yeah.
parallel, or she
Parallel
calls them,
lives or
yeah.
probabilities in the quantum field. At the
Yeah.
time, they seemed really very real to me when I remember dying in a concentration camp. Like it was a full blown memory, and the thing that really caused it was the smell. I remembered the smell of the
Wow.
camp so
Mm.
clearly. And I still didn't really believe because I was raised by these intellectual academic parents. It was still hard for me to believe, but I was still alive when they put me, or that person or that incarnation was still alive when she went into the incinerator. And the next day or that night, I broke out in burns all over my body. And
Oh,
so I knew that there was something to it. Years later when I reflect on it now, because I left past life therapy because I felt like, how can we know if it's real or if it's not real? And we can get lost in all these lifetimes. What about this lifetime? That's really how I was guided. Like, there's enough in this lifetime. It
yeah.
doesn't mean past lives can still come up sometimes for clients, but there's enough in this lifetime for us to work on. And I'm sure that it ripples out to all those other lifetimes. It was very important in the beginning of my kind of awakening process was to remember these lives, and they could be parallel. They could be the collective unconscious. We could have been everything. We could have been everyone.
Yeah.
We many say we are everything and everyone. So I don't think it's so important to even know. It's where did we get stuck in that memory, in that samskara? And for me, it
Mhm.
was persecution in my Jewish lineage
Mm.
that's had a huge impact on me and so many people that I had to have the courage to, overcome that and step out anyway and be seen anyway. And that's
Mhm.
become a lot of my work, especially with women and some men, is we have persecution either in our lineage or in our past lives, especially those that were healers, midwives, herbalists. Even, we have persecution issues around our spiritual teachers because they were killed. So we as light workers, if you want to call us that, or healers or empaths, or just good human beings that care and want to help heal, we can sometimes get really stuck in these fears that are
Mm.
irrational. And they could be
Mm.
ancestral, they could be past lives, they could be this lifetime.
But you had the sense that there's an importance that they're perhaps arising in this life so that they can be cleared?
Absolutely. I don't think
Of-
they would arise unless, they need to, and that was something that came up for me early on in my path. And it made sense because my whole childhood I was figuring out where my hiding place was when the men in coats came. And, it was very much a part of my childhood.
Mm.
And releasing that freed my life. It freed my life. I began my path.
Mm.
And I was so excited about how much it changed me that I wanted to share it with everybody. So that's when I got trained in it through alchemical hypnotherapy, and I started my practice. And people were going through all their past lives, and it was very exciting.
It sounds like it. That's incredible, Ashanna. I didn't know that about you. I'll just share real briefly here that in my own experience, I've had a number of past lives come up very, very vividly, and I just had the
Mhm.
sense that they've come up for a reason. And
Yeah,
there's actually three past lives, whatever they are, past, concurrent, parallel. Like you said, the
right.
quantum field, they feel to me like they're just a bigger part of the essence of my soul.
Yes,
And, to think it depends on where our perspective is. From here,
exactly.
it looks like
Linear, but
things
they're
are
not
right.
they're multidimensional. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were three lives as women and at least two, maybe three lives as men that I've seen very clearly
Mhm.
and have definitely there are traits of me in them, or
Hmm.
of them in me, that are very clear and that I'm
Mm.
very clearly working on, and in some cases still working on. So
Fascinating, isn't it?
yeah,
It's great that
it
you've
is.
remembered, yeah, that you can
Yeah.
access that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember early on when I first heard about past life regression, as it has been called, some people saying, "Oh, you should never look at that. It's not meant to be. If you were supposed to remember your past lives, you would." And I really think that past life regression can be powerful, and
Yeah.
that there is a sense that the only lives that will trickle through are those that
That are
do have an
important.
impact on this life. So,
Absolutely. And there's so much evidence now. I mean, there's all this evidence about little children that remember, and they tell their mommies, like, I lived in this neighborhood, this is how I died. And then there's a whole data of research. I can't remember who's gathered that, but you can find it where they actually go back to the neighborhood and the child points it out and remembers, So
yeah.
there's a lot of evidence now. And of course, it was also in a lot of our religious books, taken out perhaps so that we didn't realize. So when I remembered that lifetime in Nazi Germany, I wasn't upset. I was overjoyed, not because I died that way, but because this isn't all that there is. Because if
Yes.
this was all there was, at least for me as a 19-year-old kid looking at the world, it didn't seem very hopeful. But if we live other lives and there's more to us than what we think, then it gets really exciting. Yeah.
Mm. I love that. Yeah, I've always had this theme in the back of my mind that said, there must be more than this. There must be more than
Yes,
this.
exactly. I think
And
we
that
all have
is,
that feeling. Yeah.
yeah, well, I don't know if everybody, maybe everybody does,
A
but I
lot of
think
people, but a
especially,
lot of people that are similar to us or that are listening to your
yes,
podcast probably do.
yeah, that there's
Yeah.
something more going on. And so my life has really been a journey about uncovering what that is or what it might
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
But I also want to one of the authors or the researchers that's done a lot of work in the field of past lives is Christopher Bache,
Hmm.
who is going to be my December guest.
Oh, that's
And
exciting.
yeah, he's written a book on reincarnation. I can't remember what it's called right now, but he's also written a book called LSD and the Mind of the Universe, about some incredible, just amazing experiences of
Right.
his work with LSD, which is another subject, but he's also
Hmm.
done just comprehensive, incredible research with past lives. So,
It's really
but
powerful.
let's move on back to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And so you started out with the what did you call it? Alchemical
Alchemical
hypnotherapy.
hypnotherapy. Uh-huh.
And how did that unfold then, and what did that lead you to next from there? And how
Mhm.
did you find breath work? I'll fast forward a little bit.
Okay. Well, that's just the whole world opened up to me, and, I actually went to, my first retreat in Northern California at Heartwood called Healing the Inner Self, and, met one of my first teachers, and, Richard Byer, and we did shamanism, drumming, we did mirror work with Louise Hay, we did all these different modalities, and then we did breath work. And when we did the breath work, I had such a huge healing and such a huge release around that trauma with my father that I knew then, this is the most powerful work I'll ever be exposed to, and I have to learn more.
Mm.
And I already knew that. I was probably 20, maybe 21. And so I started looking to breath work. And in those days, it was rebirthing, and it was Sandra Ray. I was guided to a retreat in Angel Fire, New Mexico. And I was really into channeling and light body at that time too, which I know we're going to talk about. But channeling and light body can sometimes, especially early on, take us a little out of our bodies. And if we've had a lot of trauma, we're already kind of out of our bodies and we're already in those other realms. And there's
Mm.
nothing wrong with that. But there comes a time when we have to bring it into our bodies and we have to live here on the earth plane. And that can be hard for sensitive people and empaths. So for me, I would just say that breath work, when I met Sandra and she just, really wanted us to be in our bodies and get out of the sky and changed my life. And I never looked back since then. I became a breath worker. And then Dana and her former husband and I formed Clarity Breathwork in 1999. We trademarked it. And then Dana and I have really carried it for the last 25 years. I really built it, and I'm just so grateful. And then I can bring all my other skills like channeling and light body into the breath work. But what's so powerful about breath work, it's not anyone else doing it to you or for you. When I was a channeler traveling around, I could maybe tell someone about their past life. But how do we know that that's real unless they have an experience? So what I
Right.
loved about the breath work is that the power is within the person themselves, not outside in any healer or channeler or shaman even. It's within us.
Yeah, and then each individual has their own experience of knowing, cognizing the truth of it. And if nobody else believes them, it doesn't matter because they've had the experience. Yeah, that's really
Right. Right.
powerful, I think, and important in this work. So let's talk a little bit about light body.
Yeah.
What is it? Awareness?
It's called Awakening Your
Awakening.
Light Body. Yeah. And it came to me early on in the early 90s by two teachers, Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer, who many of the listeners have probably heard of because they've sold over 1 million of their books. Um, Opening to Channel, which you've got there. Yay!
Yes.
That's how I learned to channel, was through the book and the courses Opening to Channel. And I was able to be live with Sanaya and Dwayne in a huge community. There would be 400 of us gathering
Mm.
together, doing these huge initiations of light, receiving these transmissions, and I mean the electricity and the vibrancy. And so, through learning how to awaken my light body, my whole life changed. I mean, it completely changed from the 3D being that I thought I was, which was very limited, to the multidimensional. Um, multi star system galactic being that I am. And then really learning how to anchor that in my human experience and help raise the frequency, help people really go through transformation and awaken their light bodies. I think this is the time now when I've been preparing all my life for this time,
Mm.
because this
Yeah.
is now when we really need to do it. And more people will be looking for things like the light body and breath work, to help them make this transition.
Yeah, we're in the time of all hands on deck, I think.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Soul Unique podcast. I just want to take a quick pause here to be sure you know that, as is the case with every episode of Soul Unique, if anything is mentioned during the episode that you'd like to know more about, just go to soulunique.com for more information on the topics that are discussed. And while you're there, please sign up for my mailing list. And wherever you are right now, I'd just like to ask you a quick favor. Please find the subscribe, like, follow button and click it to subscribe. It's not a lifelong commitment, but will help me and all of my guests because it gives the signal, wherever you're listening, that this is good content. And my commitment to you is that I will continue to bring you content that will assist you and inspire you on your unfolding spiritual journey, whatever that may be for you. Thanks again for listening, and thanks for your consideration. So tell me more about light body. I don't really know that much about it. Is it something that Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer channeled
They
from?
channeled it with their guides. Yeah. Dwayne went out into, I think, the Utah desert with Orrin and just spent hours and hours and hours. He was a geologist, so he studied ley lines, and he went out into these power places. And Daben taught him these 7 vibrational energy centers, and they're in a similar place as the chakras, but they operate on a different level closer to the soul. So
Mm.
each center, and I'm kind of running them now, so you might even be able to subtly sense them as I'm talking about
Mm.
them. Um, each center, the first center allows this light and energy from all around us to really fuel us, to give us the energy, the mana we need. The second center modulates the emotional energy so we can smooth out. And also, empaths, we tend to pick up a lot of emotions from the field. And so it really helps us to see that, oh, that's not even mine. My job is just to harmonize that energy and send it back out, not to take it on. And then we've got the power center, which isn't the power chakra, but it's a center that helps us to really feel the confidence of our soul. Like when we're in our soul's work. You know, when you're doing your podcast or when you're doing a ceremony, Anu, when you just know you're in that soul's light. Confidence isn't a question because you're just in that stability of who you are. It's not from an ego place. And of course, up and up and up. And once you've got these 7 centers and this kind of cocoon, then you activate the 3 light body centers. And those are a quantum leap beyond those first centers and take us into realms of light, of unity, of awareness, where we can meet and work with different masters and guides and harmonize all of our energies. And speaking about past lives, there's a journey about traveling on the mental grid work, this universal lattice work of light, and finding different lifetimes and navigating into them to see what was the lesson I was learning. So there might be lifetimes that you can kind of see as extra energy there. And so you can access those through these inner journeys and reclaim those gifts. And light body's amazing. It's hard to even explain. You've got to experience it to really know that we can exist in a much greater field of awareness than we tend to. And that we have access to spiritual guidance that we didn't even know we had. And then we can ground it in our bodies and be here on the earth plane, which is perhaps for some of us the biggest challenge of all. It's easy to go out and experience. It's harder to come back and ground it and live it and be a regular human being in this world. That's perhaps one of the biggest.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think we came to be in these bodies with great intent, and it's good to be reminded of that now and then, if not consistently.
Yes.
But I think maybe that's a really good segue into your leading us in a light body meditation. Does that feel good to you?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
So shall we do that for about 10 minutes then?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I'd love to invite all of you to take a deep breath. Let's just close our eyes. Let's just put everything aside right now if you're able to. And let's just put a hand on our hearts and a hand on our bellies. And take several deep breaths. And let's just call in all of that light that we've been sharing about, that light of who you are, of why you're here, of the multidimensional being of light that you are. And let's just honor ourselves for the journeys that we have each been through in this life, blessing and honoring this holy curriculum that we have lived and that we are now transforming to give it back as a gift. Let's open our hands now, open on your lap or out near your sides to receive this downpouring of light. For we are calling in guides, master teachers, angelic beings that have been with us before we were born and have watched through our lives and are here now to help us in our evolution, in our awakening. Let's just feel it pouring down now into the space all around you, as if it is wrapping you in radiant light, and it is your own light. And let's let it move down through the crown, third eye, throat, a fountain of divine energy, awakening, cleansing, clearing, opening the way for you to have a sense of these greater centers of light through your heart, solar plexus, belly. Let's take a big breath through your shoulders, arms, and hands, clearing out any ancestral burdens we've been carrying. Let's lay them down. It's not our job to take it on. It's our job to transform and to offer it up. And let that light wash down through your root chakra, legs, feet, and feel this channel of light that you are, this radiant being, and let's call in even more of your soul self to step into your life, to take the wheel of your life, to guide you to the places and the people and the situations, the opportunities, the expressions that you are here as a soul to share, to be part of this greater healing. And let's now send our roots all the way down into Mother Earth, anchoring, grounding, rooting, and feeling the strength of the Mother beneath us and all around us. Feel her gladden as we connect with her, as nature recognizes you. And as you allow nature to heal you and align you. And let's go ahead and tap all the way down into the power of the planetary logos, the soul of Mother Earth, the light body of the Mother that is even greater than the physical body. And feeling this great being shining to you, smiling to you, offering you the entire apothecary that she holds of nature, and offering you this support. And I want you to tap into, what is it that you really need right now? What is the quality, perhaps the code of light that you need now to help you in your life journey? Is it clarity? Is it trust? Is it abundance, health, love? And just let's begin to see those codes of light made available to us, the pure codes of those qualities in the heart of Mother Gaia. And that they are rising up and we can receive them through these light body centers. Let's let it rise up now. Taking a breath, rising all the way back up, and let's open the first center as a cylinder of light, perhaps extending down, letting yourself receive these new codes of clarity, codes of vitality, energetic codes, and let's bring them up now into what we might see as a plane of light. And that second center, on or about the ovaries for women, similar place for men, that is rippling out to the horizon, smoothing out any stuck emotions or dramatic emotions. We are smoothing the field. And up, I'm just going to touch on these centers. So you can have a sense. Let's move up to the power center, almost as if 3 spinning spheres spin together until they explode in a radiant sun. That is your power, your true light, what you came here for. And up through a membrane above it, around the diaphragm, moving up into the heart center. That radiant heart that swells and opens up, begins to bring our compassion online, our forgiveness, our capacity to heal ourselves and one another through love. And feel that flower opening in your heart. We'll call in the sacred feminine for all of us, men and women, for she is here to help us remember love. And up through long feathers or petals floating around the throat that lift up on the energy, rippling out into the mental body, clearing out old thoughts, judgments, beliefs, bringing crystal clarity, connecting us with our guides, our guardians, and let's let them come closer as we lift up to the third eye center, as we see radiant beams of light coming in and out of the third eye center, illuminating our consciousness, our clarity, our perception, our ability to see beyond illusion to the oneness, beyond division. And let's bring it up through a little disc at the top of the head, a final vibrational center to harmonize our mental bodies, and a cascading light flowing down all around us, creating a cocoon of light that then rises back up through the first center near the root chakra, up through the central column, the Sushumna, out through the crown, back, down and around, creating a beautiful toroidal field of light. And just breathe here and feel your radiance beginning to light up, your calm, your peace. Let's take another big breath together and let's bring our hands in prayer position. There are 3 light body centers, but you'll have to have enough harmony in these first ones to be able to go beyond, experience the infinite that you come from, that you are. Let's take one more breath, and from this empowered space, bring up that code of light that you called upon. Set an intention for yourself from this place, and let's see it, feel it, and know it, that it is already true, that intention. Let's take another big breath and thanking the guides, the master teachers here for this transmission of light, and to continue to transmit to you to help you on your path of awakening. And let's take another breath and let's offer it all up, setting it all free. With our hands, if you like, stretch into the sky and then down towards the ground. We can tap our feet and come back here. Make sure that you come back the time and space of the earth plane. That is a little taste of the 7 vibrational energy centers and some of the light body energies.
Whew, wow.
How was that
Thank you.
for you?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was incredible. I had full body chills just rolling through my body.
It's working.
Really, I'm
Like
still
it.
feeling them now as I'm talking about them. Thank you
Well,
so
that's
much.
just a little taste of what's possible. It's an incredible body of work that they brought through when they were alive. They've gone to the other side now, and I find it's even more powerful now that Sanaya and Dwayne have crossed over, and the foundation continues.
Yeah, I'm feeling it in the back of my head now, moving up the back of my neck and up through the crown.
Wonderful. Yes, I like it.
Thank you so much, Ashanna. That was
You're
incredible.
so welcome, Anu.
Well, I guess you're teaching this work, obviously.
Yes.
Did Sanaya and Dwayne
Dwayne.
leave a school behind, or how
They
does that work
did.
now?
They left a legacy behind. If you go to orenanddaben.com, there's an Oren and
Okay.
Daben Foundation for all of their teachings, and there's a board of directors, and there are still many light body teachers that are teaching. They also did create, it all started with a home study course. So it's all laid out on a home study course as well from Oren and Daben. But you can also learn it from a teacher that's been trained by them. And both
Such
are
as
good.
you?
I like to have my students do both. I like them to receive it live in now this moment, and I like them to have the original transmissions from Oren and Daben.
Okay, beautiful. And just to clarify for listeners, Oren and Daben are the channeled beings
Yes.
that came through Sanaya
Sanaya
and Dwayne.
Yeah.
Sanaya, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, again, thank you so much. That was really beautiful. I
You're
feel
so welcome.
rejuvenated.
Yeah, that's what it can do for us. Rejuvenate us, turn on our light. It's been great to see the Clarity Breathworkers that add light body to their practice too. Like I can look around the room when I'm teaching live and see the light that's on and be like, oh, that one's got light body. That one's got light body. Because it just brings
Really?
it brings in a whole nother powerful capacity to hold space and find people's energy and transmit to them.
Wow, that's amazing. Maybe I should add light body to my own practice.
That would be amazing, Anu. I mean, you're already so bright and light. So if you added those tools, it's just going to take it exponential for you.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look into this. And I didn't realize that you offered light body for men. Do you offer light body training for men?
I do. I actually have one
Okay.
coming up. It may be before this airs because it's at the end of November, but you could join in. November
Okay.
21st to the 24th. I'm just getting ready to offer it.
Is that online?
It's online for 4
Okay.
days, and it's super powerful. It's kind of it's a little unheard of to do it in 4 days, but I feel like the people that I attract are ready for it. And so it's a really powerful 4-day transformation, and we're ready. The energy is super potent right now.
It sure
I'm sure
is.
you've felt it. Yeah.
Whew. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially now that you help rejuvenate me and just open me up with that meditation. So, yeah, I will definitely look into that. Perhaps if that will fit into my schedule, that is meant to be.
That would be amazing. I'd love to have you.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's talk more about light body and also segue into your women's work, which is
Mhm.
so important and powerful.
Mhm.
And I would love to
Mhm.
hear more about your offerings in
Mhm.
that arena.
Yeah, I teach this amazing 3-month women's mentorship program called Chrysalis, and it's just been extraordinary. I'm starting my 5th round this winter solstice, and women just go through such a profound journey of transformation. We create like an energetic a chrysalis design with the flower of life and the Divine Mother's Sri Yantra as an
Mm.
image, and I teach them the entire Awakening Your Light Body course. I added it only a couple years ago, and it took it to a whole nother level. These women, I just saw women really change and transform through these 3
Mm.
months with light body, clarity breathwork, powerful initiations. We come together for an in-person retreat, and women are so powerful and amazing and caring. And when there's a safe place for women to open up to the care and the love and the nurturance, we can hold each other through profound life transitions. Last time we had a woman going through chemotherapy, and we had another woman who had to be hospitalized, and we carried each other through it. And we also help each other step into our gifts and our power. And it's amazing. And out of Chrysalis, I was given a vision. I've been called to gather the women for, since I was a girl. But
Mm.
I really felt the Amazonian women come to me very strongly one night, and they said, "You must gather the women now, and that we need
Mm.
to come together." And it's not even that we have to do something great together, it's that we just have to come together. So I've birthed Women with Wings community. It's a prayer for women around the world to gather online, in person, to spread our wings, to lift each other up through sacred practices, working with an altar. We just did an ancestral healing one for Samhain, and it was so powerful. The ancestors were so there. We created altars, we prayed. We use these sacred practices to heal and empower each other to believe in ourselves and to give our gifts and to show up and to shine and to lift each other up. So I feel so empowered and inspired to create this large women's movement. And it's not the feminist movement that my parents were involved in, although that was important for that time and is still important, on the planet. It's more of using our divine connection, our connection to the Divine Mother, to the sacred feminine, to rise into our greater gifts and bring healing to the world, to each other, and to the men as well. Of course, because it's so important that we also honor the masculine, the sacred masculine. But when women come together to do this work, it's incredible what can happen. No wonder we've been held back and suppressed for 2,000 years, because that power has the power to change the world.
That is so beautiful. I'm so happy you're doing that work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Anu. Thank you for your love and support. And it's not just the sacred feminine awakening in women, it's also awakening in men like you. And
Mm.
the men that can hold space for the women, they can protect the women and support the women. That's just as important, that we have that support.
What a beautiful world it will be when we are working more in tandem,
Yes.
helping each other realize our gifts and bring them forth and all that goes with that.
Yes.
So where does someone go to find out about your women's work?
They can actually go to the claritybreathwork.com website. I'm also just launching Women with Wings on Facebook, Women with Wings Sisterhood. So you could probably find me there too, and ask to enter the temple. And but all of my chrysalis work and Women with Wings events are all on claritybreathwork.com.
Okay, wonderful. And I will include that Facebook link on my soulunique.com
Wonderful.
web page for this episode. So I always post resources from each episode on my website.
Wonderful.
So people can go there as well. So, thank you so much for all
Covered a
you've
lot of
shared.
ground today.
And I feel like there's so much more we could
So
cover.
much more, I know.
But we really don't have time. But
Yeah.
I would love to just ask you some of the sort of standard questions that I like to ask all of my guests, again, with the intent of helping listeners of Soul Unique just forging their own spiritual path, wherever they are on that path, and whatever that path means for them. Of course, it's different for everybody. So my first question is a new one. And I love to ask, what would you say to someone who is maybe somewhat skeptical about all this so-called spiritual stuff, but curious?
Start where you are. That's always that's the Buddhist saying, right? Start where you are. If you're curious, see where are you guided to? What are the books, teachers, ask to be guided. Like, is this a path for me? Because we have internal guidance. We have our own inner GPS. That if you're curious about it, then that means there's something there for you. And what I always tell the divine is just filter out everything I don't need to even know about or take a look at, and just put me on the path of what's most going to support me. Because otherwise, we could spend eons of time researching everything. Just show me what the best direct path is for me.
Oh, I think that's so important because, I was one of those people early on that was just taking every class and every retreat and every workshop I could, just all across the board. And it was all valuable and wonderful, but it really took me a long time to just sort of narrow in on what actually was my path. So if there's a way to sort of call that in, bring it on.
Yeah, well, that's my prayer. Filter out everything I don't need to know about and bring to me what's most going to help me.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So with that, keeping in mind that, of course, people are going to be encountering teachings and teachers, etc., books, workshops, ashrams, whatever. I like to ask, are there any red flags that you are aware of or you'd like to make people aware of that people should be aware of when exploring different spiritual paths, communities, teachings, or teachers?
Well, let's take a big breath into that, because there's certainly been a lot of trauma around that, and so really need to check out a community, a teacher. The Dalai Lama once said that Americans, Westerners, should take 10 years to trust a teacher. They shouldn't
Really?
just jump right in, right? And yet for many Westerners, we've been so trained to give our power away. So we want a guru or we want someone to tell us. So I think the most important thing is, are they empowering your inner knowing? Are they empowering the God in you? Or are they trying to be the source of power? That's really fundamental for me. It's not about giving our power away to someone that knows the answers, because no one else knows our answers. They can teach us wonderful practices and tools and hold the space for the only one that can do the work, which is us. So do they lift you up and help you on your path? Or is it, you could look up the characteristics of a cult and just educate yourself because it's widely known online. Yeah. Do your research.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. And trust yourself. A lot of people, they don't listen to their inner voice and they dismiss it and say, oh no, this will be really good for me. But your inner voice is telling you by how you feel if this is a yes or a no. So honor your own inner knowing.
Yeah, I think it gets really sticky when somebody feels like the teaching that a certain teacher might be offering is valuable. And in many cases, that can be true, but then the teacher or the people around that teacher might really be, I don't know, it could be lost in darkness or conflict behind the scenes. And if somebody continues to study with that, then they can end up getting pulled into that down the road. And
Yeah.
I've seen that in my own experience and in others' experiences. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very disconcerting. And then
Mm-hmm.
when someone gets into that situation, sometimes they sort of get into a mindset of just throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And so then they're sort of
Right.
put back at square
Yeah.
one.
I mean, it's really important to recognize that we are all human beings dealing with shadow and light, and we all have shadow. Every single human being has shadow work, and nobody is going to be all good. It's not going to happen. And that we really need to do our shadow work as well. It's not
Hmm.
all about light and love. I could say that when I first started with the light body, I thought it was. It's not all about light and love. It's also about feeling our pain, our grief, our own violence, our own arrogance, all of it. We have to meet all of ourselves. So if it is a community that's not doing that shadow work, then how's shadow going to play out? Because it's going to play out in some way.
Yes.
And no teacher is perfect, but are they 80%? That you can trust them as a teacher. And there are many good teachers out there. So also set your intention, just like with when we channel, we ask for the highest level guide possible. We're not interested in anything less than that because there's all kinds of disincarnate spirits. So the same with it. I'm asking for an aligned teacher, an aligned program. I'm not interested in that. And I would just have to say, like, if you find yourself in a situation that is off, that can be a great turning point too, because saying no and walking away could have been the karmic lesson that you came to learn. I know I probably got the most out of a workshop in occult once that was really, but I think it was the most powerful workshop I ever did. Was it off? Absolutely. But the way that I had to work that and go through that and reclaim my power, just like those hard relationships we go through, it turns
Yes.
out there's a blessing in disguise.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Thank you,
I've had
Anu.
the same experience, and I can look back now and see how valuable those were. I mean, sometimes, if not all the time, I think we learn more from the challenging experiences than we do from the rainbows and
Absolutely.
lollipops.
Absolutely.
But we can also go in with integrity and with calling in the highest for ourselves and
Yeah.
knowing, like, when we get to a place that something is clearly not working or there's something not right, that it's okay to step away and
Yeah.
uh, change, take a little detour on our path and change
Yeah.
direction. And there's nothing wrong with that. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that in. It's an important topic. We could do a whole nother podcast on that.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe I should do one on that.
You should.
That's a
It's
good
fascinating
idea.
material. I have clients that have cult trauma and found a lot of help with cult trauma therapists, cult recovery trauma therapists. I mean, it is a thing when we give our power away to
Yeah.
an outside person or a group of people.
Yeah.
So thank you, Anu.
So in addition to the beautiful meditation that you shared with us, my next question is just simply maybe you could share with us another simple practice or technique that someone could do on their own, just, sitting in their room alone, or maybe sitting in their parked car alone, whatever, in a park, in nature, whatever, something they could do, an approach someone could try today to feel more spiritually aligned.
More spiritually
Or
aligned.
to call in inner guidance, whatever that might be.
I like the meditation that I led. I like surrounding myself in light, calling all of my light back from other people, places, situations. And that one little muscle in the bottom of your pelvic floor, if you just squeeze and release that muscle a few times and feel your grounding, your connection to Mother Earth, and that the Mother Earth is constantly sending us this life force energy and aliveness. And you can let that energy go all the way up your spine, just like we did, out through your head and around you. It'll just change everything. You can do it 5 minutes or less, just calling your light back, squeezing that muscle, bringing that light up, creating that field of light. Good to do before anything you have to do, but especially so you have to have a difficult conversation or you want to do a creative project. We did it before this podcast. It's just a simple, quick, activate your light body practice.
Beautiful. That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Last question. What are your all-time favorite spiritually oriented books or personal transformation books, or just maybe, one or two, whatever feels good to you?
Well, I love Gangaji's book, The Diamond in Your Pocket. I had a big
Yes.
awakening with it sitting in
I'm reading that
Bali.
right now.
Yeah, I had that aha moment of like, oh, it's already here. I just started
Yeah.
laughing and crying. And I also
Ah.
love Adyashanti's book, The End of Your World. That's a
Hmm.
really profound book.
I love-
Those are a couple.
Those are the two books that I'm reading Gangaji's book right now, The Diamond in Your Pocket. And I just, before that, I finished the Adyashanti book.
Oh my
So,
goodness. Well, we're on the same page. But I'm also reading The Boundary Boss, which I would really recommend for everybody, especially women. We didn't learn boundaries. So there are these spiritual non-dual teachings. And then there's like, how do we be in this world when we didn't learn anything about boundaries? So I like those books too, like The Boundary Boss. And It Didn't Start With You, Ancestral Healing. I'm also listening to that one right now.
that's another book.
Yeah, It Didn't Start With You,
It Didn't
about
Start With You.
ancestral healing. It's so good.
Beautiful.
So powerful. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I just did an ancestral lineage healing retreat with Daniel Four.
Oh,
You
wow.
ever heard of Daniel Four?
No, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it was really powerful, but that's another subject. So, yeah. So before I wrap this up, I just want to mention that to our listeners that Ashanna is offering a free gift, and it's a gift of guided meditations that she and Dana Dharmadevi of Clarity Breathwork have created. It's called Embracing the Sacred Feminine. And I'm going to share the link to receive that gift. It's on the claritybreathwork.com website, but there's a special link that I will share in the notes wherever this is posted on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And the link will also be on soulunique.com. So that can be found there. So any last minute thoughts you'd like to share with us before we depart?
Well, that meditation was mostly made for women, but we do have a lot of men that have done it and have loved it. And the first journey is really receiving from the Earth Mother to heal your body, your being. And the second journey is a light body initiation to the Temple of the Living Goddess. So check it out. And I just want to thank you, Anu, for your devotion and dedication and commitment and radiant being. Thank you so much for hosting me today.
Oh, thank you, Ashanna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been an enlightening conversation full of great nuggets of insights and mind-expanding perspectives and possibilities. We could keep talking.
We could.
I want to send you off with my deep gratitude for joining me today and for sharing your beautiful and important, very important work with the world. Thank you for being an agent of transformation for our rapidly evolving world. Blessings to you. Namaste. I'm so grateful to Ashanna for joining me today and for sharing that powerful and rich guided meditation. That was really incredible. I hope you enjoyed it. For more information about Ashanna and her work, you can visit claritybreathwork.com. And to access the generous free gift of guided meditations that Ashanna is offering exclusively for Soul Unique listeners, go to offers.claritybreathwork.com/Soul Unique. Again, that's offers.claritybreathwork.com/Soul Unique. And that link is also in the show notes for this episode and will be on the soulunique.com website. And as always, it's my intention to make the resources and information that were mentioned in each episode of Soul Unique as easy as possible for you to track down. I'll be posting as many as possible of the resources on the soulunique.com website, so you can check them out if you'd like. And if you'd like to join me on this journey, I encourage you to sign up for the Soul Unique mailing list at soulunique.com, and I'll keep you up to date on new episodes, inspiration for your unfolding path, and other resources. Lastly, I'd just like to add a quick plug here that if you appreciated and resonated with this episode, I'll be forever grateful and honored if you would please like, follow, and maybe even write a short comment about the episode on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. It will help tremendously in spreading the good vibes about forging a personal spiritual path, as well as about this continually evolving podcast. Thanks for your consideration, and thank you very much for being here today. I hope you'll continue to tune in to the Soul Unique podcast in the future. I'm wishing you well and sending you highest vibes as you continue to navigate your life, and yes, perhaps even your own personal spiritual path. Thank you for being here.